But as soon as the event ended, Dr. Santorisas made a quick exit,
Dr. Santorisas,
leaving behind the curtains and hurrying down the hallway.
Dr. Santorisas, can we just get a quick word with you? Can we just ask you a couple questions about the recent MCAT scores for math that came out for the school system?
In April, when Project Baltimore tried to speak with State Superintendent Mohammed Chaudhry about enhanced de-identification,
Removing test scores from the website,
he locked himself behind a door. In May,
This is Chris Papps, investigative reporter and track star for Fox 45. He spearheads the corporation's Project Baltimore. As Fox 45 describes, the goal of Project Baltimore is twofold. First, the project seeks to give a voice to the voiceless, namely the hundreds of thousands of students, teachers, parents, and taxpayers who expect the best performance possible from their local school systems. Secondly, the project seeks to inform the public about how their public schools are being operated, how their children are being educated, and how their tax dollars are being spent. An important word, some could even say exhausted by these segments, is the focus on the taxpayer dollar. They love to mention Baltimore's school budget and how it is one of the biggest budgets for education within the United States. These segments interview worried parents, up-and-coming politicians, and chase after administrators to get answers about where this money is going in schools. Another piece of important context involves the Sinclair Broadcasting Group, who owns Fox 45, the station that runs Project Baltimore. Sinclair Broadcasting has recently come under fire for reducing coverage of local parties, increasing national coverage, and moving the ideological tone of coverage in a conservative direction relative to other stations operating in the same field. The company encourages anchors to produce pro-Trump editorial content, including warnings of fake news. When Sinclair Broadcasting's executive chairman, David D. Smith, acquired the Baltimore Sun, a local newspaper, he reportedly told staff he stood by a statement he made in 2018 calling print media, quote, so left-wing as to be meaningless dribble, end quote, and indicated he felt largely the same about the Sun. Instead, Smith suggested that Sun staff emulate the reporting of Fox 45. These segments predominantly focus on two things: test scores to measure proficiency and where the school budget is going. What the program rarely does is describe methods that could aid students in school. For example, in one segment, Papps laments how at more than 200 Maryland schools, only 5% of students score proficient in math. Two schools that made the cut were Polytechnic and Western High School. Let's take a closer look at some of the schools mentioned in Fox 45 segment. First, let's look at Western High School, Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, and Frederick Douglass High School through the criteria that Fox 45 believes to be the best measure of education, test scores and proficiency, while also describing some of the awesome features these schools offer for students. According to Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, it is a citywide high school offering college preparatory and advanced college preparatory curriculum, emphasizing the study of science, mathematics, and engineering. Each June of the student's high school career, their academic records are reviewed. Students who demonstrate success in their program will be invited to remain at Poly. Poly's specialized programs incorporate the Maryland state requirements and far exceed them. They offer a band curriculum, an Air Force-focused path, and AP classes. It offers a rigorous curriculum and currently has 5 out of 5 stars from the Maryland Department of Education, meaning the school has at least 75% of total earned points for proficiency. Then there's Western High School. This public high school offers 3 academic tracks for students to pursue. There's the Accelerated College Prep, and Teacher Academy. It is the oldest all-girls public high school in the United States. The school has created a partnership with a school in Nigeria, sending letters between students from this high school and Nigeria. It works alongside other schools to bring activities to the students. The school received a 3 out of 5 stars, meaning the school has at least 45% but less than 60% of total earned points percent. Finally, Frederick Douglass High School provides an overview of the specific classes and credit numbers that students should take during their high school years. For example, from 9th to 10th grade, students need to take 5 credits, including English 1 or Algebra 1. The school also offers AP English and requires that students complete 75 hours of service learning to graduate. Students can also join JROTC while at school. According to the Maryland Department of State, the school has 2 out of 5 stars, meaning the school has at least 30% but less than 45% of total earned points percent. Though these 3 are all public Baltimore City schools, each come with their unique strengths and struggles. Fox 45 segment does not mention factors that could impact students' learning outside of the classroom. For example, the poverty rates, food deserts, number of one-income households are not mentioned by Fox 45. According to U.S. News & World Report, 77% of Frederick Douglass's student body are economically disadvantaged. These news segments do not take into account that some students are responsible for making sure their siblings make it to and from school. Often, a standardized test is not at the forefront of students' minds. When we reduce students to statistics, we have already failed them within the school system. There is more to a student than the score they get. Throughout our class, we have engaged with material that shows different ways to approach education. This reliance on standardized tests creates a one-shoe-fits-all policy that not all students can walk with. For example, educators should become familiar with restorative justice. Roshana Snyder described how she implemented it within her classrooms and the positive results of this approach. Restorative justice in schools uses meditation and community building to shift away from a punitive discipline model. A new study by the University of Chicago Education Lab found that schools that implemented restorative justice practices saw a staggering 35% reduction in student arrests and a 15% reduction in out-of-school violation offenses. In addition to significant decreases in student arrests, restorative justice practices decreased out-of-school suspensions by 18% and improved students' perceptions of school climate. Also, River and Hathaway showed us the importance of involving the local community in these projects. We should find ways to bring parents and local partners into the schools. It also shows us how important knowing the history of an area can be and the struggles that the community may have faced. As shown in the Nice White Parents podcast, we have seen the adverse effects of pushing people outside of their own neighborhoods. The solution to schools is not segregation and gentrification in new forms. Other speakers, like Matt Cowan from the Odyssey School, showed us that we can come together with a common problem facing education and work as one to come up with a solution. The unique structure of the school demonstrates that standardized testing is not the only solution. For the betterment of the future students' education, it is essential that we come together and find a new approach to learning. One of the most troubling parts of all this is reading some of the comments that people leave on the Fox 45 YouTube videos. The comment section has become a safe space for vitriol. Viewers rely on racist language to blame children of color and their families for not excelling in schools. The narratives of this media do nothing to staunch these ideas. Instead, they add fuel to the flame. They create the places where people can spread their preconceived notions, not just about Baltimore City schools, but city districts across the nation. Having the best interest of the students at heart means engaging with social, economic, and political landscapes that create school districts. And finally, in the words of Sonia Santelises,
we have, Chris.
Who do
Thanks
you
so
hope-
much. It's really good to see you.
But who